Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Winnetka Village Council regular meeting for March 18th, 2025. Happy belated St. Patrick's to those that observe. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask everyone to please mute your cell phones or other electronic devices. And I'll ask Rob to do a roll call for attendance.
Thank you. Trustee Orsic?
Present.
Trustee Handler?
Here.
Trustee Dearborn?
Here.
Trustee Albinson?
Here.
President Rintz?
Here. Trustee Orsic has agreed to lead us this evening in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Item 3 is quorum check.
Yes. Looking at the April meetings, reminder that the first meeting in April is actually on Thursday, April 3rd, because of the election. Any conflicts for that date? Okay. And then April 8th, study session, and April 15th, regular meeting. This is our practice so we don't have meetings during. Tuesday. Okay. Okay, let me know if there's any conflicts. Thank you.
That's the 4th, right?
3rd.
Oh, the 3rd. Okay. All right, public comment. This is the time of the evening when anyone in the audience can come on up to the microphone and share their thoughts with us on anything that's on their mind that is not on the agenda. So if you're here to speak on the policing matter, you'll have to wait, but if you're here to speak about anything else, you're welcome to come to the podium. Susie, you're our only guest tonight. Just hanging out, huh? Glad to see you. All right, there is no public comment this evening, so I'll close that. Reports. Start with the trustees. Kirk, any report?
No report.
Bob?
No report.
No report.
Kim? Bridget?
No report.
Okay. Village attorney? No report tonight. Village manager?
Nothing this evening. Thank you.
And village president. I had one item that was regarding the IMEA contract. I was talking with Rob late this past Friday, and we were kind of evaluating what the Naperville report was informing us on or not informing us on, and we came to the conclusion that it really didn't provide any clarity as far as what we need to do, and it only seems appropriate at this point to really think about allowing staff to go ahead and negotiate an extension of the IMEA agreement. Over the past year, Village Council has carefully been evaluating the contract, and the deadline is the 30th of April. This month, Naperville provided a report, as I said. Didn't give us the bright light that we had hoped it would. We're still reviewing the report and closely monitoring the ongoing discussions in Naperville. As you all know, too, residents in our community have brought up this option of a power marketer as an alternative, and you know, I feel obligated, and I know staff does too, to better understand that option and provide you all with some ideas on how that may or may not work. Given the complexity of the issue and the necessary due diligence we're still undertaking, now is the time to ask for the request. So what I'd like to do is give staff and village attorney the opportunity to go ahead and reach out to them and begin the negotiation, so we don't end up with our back against the wall on April 29th trying to figure this out. Any problems with that? Over here? We okay? Okay. Well, Bob, Rob, you and Nick and Peter can go for it.
We will. We'll keep you informed. Thank you.
Okay. We're thinking 5-6 months, right? I mean, at this point.
Up to 6 months makes sense, if it's resolved sooner, of course, but I think it would be difficult to ask for a shorter amount of time and then have to ask for more time.
I agree.
Just rather ask one time and get it done.
Okay.
So.
That works for me. So that's what we'll do. Thank you. All right. Item 6 this evening is the establishment of the consent agenda. Does any trustee wish to remove any item on the consent agenda for a separate vote? Nope. All right, may I have a motion to approve the final form of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, that's a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. We'll now move on to the approval of the consent, and I'll ask Rob to read the items on the agenda.
Thank you. Approval of the Village Council minutes for February 18th, 2025, regular meeting. Approval of the warrant list dated February 28th through March 13th, 2025, in the amount of $1,483,481.87. Resolution number R29, approving a contract with Seeper Heating and Cooling Incorporated for an HVAC modernization project Phase 2. Resolution number R30, 2025, approving a contract with Western Waterproofing Company Incorporated, doing business as Western Specialty Contractors for Hubbard Woods parking structural repairs. Resolution number R31, 2025, approving and establishing the compensation of department heads effective January 1st of 2025. Resolution number R32, 2025, approving and establishing the changes in compensation for the manager. Resolution number R33, 2025, awarding a contract to Siebert & Sons Enterprise LLC, doing business as Siebert Trees for utility line clearance.
Thanks, Rob. All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda by omnibus vote?
So moved.
Second.
That's a roll call vote.
Trustee Albinson?
Yes.
Trustee Orsic?
Yes.
Trustee Handler?
yes,
Trustee Dearborn?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you. All right, item 8, ordinances and resolutions. Resolution number R34, 2025, waiving bidding and approving an agreement with P4 Security Services, LLC, for on-site security guarding services, and this is up for adoption. With an increase of crime over the past several years and the unprecedented challenges regarding police personnel, Winnetka Police have requested council approval for security partnership assisting the department with community safety. And this evening, Police Chief Brian O'Connell will be here to walk us through the request. Take it away.
Thank you, President Rintz. Good evening, Council. Thank you for the time to present for your consideration approving an agreement with P4 Security Solutions. In attendance tonight is Steve Vitale, President, P4, Paul Ohm, Vice President, Executive Vice President, Adam Johnson, Chief Operating Officer, and Kevin Conway, Senior Vice President. If at any time tonight after the presentation there's questions that I can't answer for you, by all means, they're here to help. So some background and some community impacts. Over the last several years, many metropolitan communities have seen a direct impact with the increase of crime. Specific crimes that we've been seeing are residential and commercial burglaries. I'll highlight some of the things that just happened in the last few days regarding commercial burglaries in a minute. Burglary to vehicle, theft, motor vehicle theft, robbery, and vehicular hijacking. What we have also seen in collaboration with these crimes is the increased use or possession of a firearm or a deadly weapon in the commission of those crimes. Winnetka is not alone, but we have several North Shore communities have experienced that direct impact of these types of crimes with the presence of a firearm. Over the last few years, when it comes to recruitment and retention, with the increase in crime, we've also seen struggles with recruitment. And this is a problem and a challenge that we're seeing across the country in the field of law enforcement. Since 2023, directly with Winnetka, we've been operating with increased staff shortages, averaging between 2 and 3 shortages a year. So the village and the police department have taken proactive steps to try to combat that problem. We've developed development of a dedicated recruitment team. We've offered financial retention incentives. We are attending career fairs, universities, anywhere that we can promote the police department, we are. We offer internship programs and ride-along opportunities for people that may be interested in law enforcement, that we can show them the benefits of the profession, and as well as continuing and developing department programs that we feel the younger generation may be interested in. And one example of that in technology is the drone program. So we're trying to stay on top of establishing new programs to keep interest. But there's a balance, right? Balancing the staffing shortages while maintaining community safety is a worry, and it's a concern. I have this slide here because I want to show all of you that the police personnel, the time to hire someone takes a significant amount of time. This is the example. So the application and testing process can take up to 2 months on average. A police candidate interview, the Board of Fire and Police Commissioner interviews, the background investigations on each applicant can take a month. The police academy, that used to be 3 months, it used to be 10 weeks, then it was 3 months, now it's 4 months long. Then the department field training program that we require of every applicant coming back from the academy is 3 months. So in a unique world, from the start date of hire and that process to independent patrol takes 10 months. That's if the academy lines up perfectly. And I'm gonna give you an example right now. The Human Resource Department and us, we're doing a testing process right now for police applicants. That test is going off in April. The next police academy is in May. We are not going to make that police academy. The next academy that I'm very confident in sending our applicants to is in September. So when you talk about September, we won't have people, the newly hired officers on the street until March of next year. That is 1 year from today. So how do we bridge the gap? How do we balance the staff shortages and maintain community safety? The goal here, and I want to be very open about this, is to identify and hire qualified police officers. That's the goal. That's the goal, is to fill these vacancies that we have so that we're fully staffed. But appreciating the time constraints of recruitment, police staff began to discuss alternative strategies, begin to think outside the box. How do we maintain the appropriate level of safety for our community while being unable to fill vacancies immediately? It's a hard question to answer. But we began to research, we identified vendors and interviewed security companies that we believe hit on the core safety and security values for this community. And it was clear after that interview process that one security vendor was identified in being able to provide the scope of work and work in collaboration with our police officers. And that was P4 Security Solutions. P4 Security Solutions have been in business for 11 plus years. They have offices, their operations centers in Downers Grove, which I had the luxury of visiting not too long ago, a very impressive facility. An office in Chicago, Downers Grove, Chicago. There's other offices in Springfield, Galena, and Michigan. They have over 1,800 security professionals operating for them over 15 states. What I wanted to highlight here in this slide are two main things: the patrol areas that they include and their clients. Currently, they're patrolling for Northwestern University, DePaul University, Lincoln Park, Bucktown, West Loop, Hyde Park, Streeterville, and soon the Ukrainian Village. Some of their high-level clients for security purposes are Lurie's Children's Hospital, the Chicago Bears, obviously Northwestern and the University of Chicago Medicine, Northern Trust, Cushman and Wakefield, and so on. P4 Security Services program is designed to provide an efficient, highly trained professional and community-focused security patrols supporting public safety efforts. I'd like to take just a moment to highlight some of the things on this slide that I feel are invaluable to what we're trying to target with this program. P4 will provide the village these 6 things. They will immediately increase our patrol presence by 2 independent security officers patrolling our community. They're going to bring experienced personnel with them. They are off-duty armed law enforcement personnel. That flows right into the next, and number 3 is specialized skill set. We have police officers here through P4 that know what they're looking for and are aware, and I think that's invaluable. Number 4 is the community engagement. They are going to help us when we need them with calls for service if we need them to provide patrols. They are going to help us direct traffic. All these things they could assist us with if we call upon them. And I think this is one of the most important ones internally for our police department and for our community, is resource allocation. Because we're understaffed, the officers dedicate the time necessary to complete that task. They often feel that they leave that family or that that assignment, maybe not giving the amount of time that they could have because they have to move on to the next assignment. Providing this resource allocation will allow our officers to feel like they can dedicate the time that they feel necessary to complete an assignment. I think that's important. And then enhanced safety measures. We can patrol these areas strategically. We know that P4 may be in a certain area, a residential neighborhood, a business district, based on current crime trends, and we can provide our attention in other areas of town. Many North Shore communities in the last 3 days, if you haven't seen the news, has been affected by several commercial crimes, commercial burglaries, excuse me. We could dedicate P4 to our business district and provide that deterrent factor. We talk about their scope of work, and I want to highlight 6 things here, please. They will furnish services for routine patrol areas. We can assign patrol areas, or we can have them across the entire village. Moving across, left to right, they will provide security services by serving as a visible deterrent. I believe this is one of the key factors for them, is that once people see that criminals that want to take advantage of these opportunities see this collaborative effort, it's going to be a deterrent. I believe that. They will also observe, detect, and report suspicious incidents or individuals to the police department. They can assist police and fire when requested. They can direct traffic for us. They will be able to do that for us if we're short. They can secure perimeters of scenes for us. They can be on scene for us when we need them. They will conduct assigned patrols of crime trends that I discussed earlier, and they will carry out daily duties as assigned by the police department. So their hours of operation, 11 p.m. They're going to start on hopefully April 1st. They will begin at 11 p.m. and work through 7 a.m., 7 days a week, 365 days a year, including holidays. The personnel that will be assigned are 2 uniformed security with security markings independent of the police department. The security personnel that are here will be in current good standing with their law enforcement agency. And they will also be wearing the proper equipment to do the job for us. Their vehicles were going to be completely opposite of our police vehicles that are in black. They will be wrapped in full white, high visibility. They will have internal green flashing light bars, which I believe can be a deterrent. There was secure radio communications. P4 has their own security operations center, their own dispatch center that they communicate back and forth with for their accountability. They have inward and outward facing dash cams, evidence and accountability. They have a success story out of Chicago, I believe, where the evidence on their front dash cam actually picked up a stolen auto. It cleared a case for them. Their monitoring system on their cars. GPS tracking for their patrol adjustments. We are looking into the possibility here with this, where our police officers may be able to monitor and see where P4 is on our police officer laptops so that we don't duplicate patrol efforts. If they're in one area of town, we can dedicate our resources to somewhere else in town. We're working on that currently. And then the functions and the resources of the car with the air horn if they needed to assist us in an emergency. And that's what the car design would look like for us. So staff allocated $500,000 in the fiscal 2025 budget year for contracted services. If approved by council, the term of the contract with P4 will be from April 1st of this year through December 31st of 2026. The estimated cost of this initiative for the remainder of this year will be just around $367,000. So in conclusion, I'd like to mention a few things here. The partnership between P4 Security Solutions and the Winnetka Police Department will exemplify, I believe, a proactive, collaborative approach to community safety. By supplementing our patrol officers with P4, Winnetka Police can continue to ensure the highest level of security, increase community engagement, and optimize resource allocation. And while the end goal still remains to increase our sworn police officer staffing, P4 can provide us that immediate fill where we can have an immediate presence and expertise in contributing to a safer and more secure community. And before I turn it over for questions, I'd just like to kind of take a moment to go off script. I won't do this often as the chief of police, but I want to make sure that I express this to all of you and everybody in this room. The police department has always been very fortunate and appreciative of the resources, the support that this council, that the residents of this community has provided the police. I have seen other police departments. I have worked alongside other police departments in specialty assignments. And many departments are envious of what you provide for us, and I thank you for that on behalf of the police department. But I also have to say that the residents of this community are extremely fortunate to have this police department and the men and women that work here. The dedication, the sacrifice, especially over the last 3 years, to maintain a presence in our community is unmatched. It's unmatched, and the residents of this community are lucky. So respectfully, I'm going to turn away from the council and compliment the officers here. I know I don't want to put her on the spot,
But you will.
but I'm gonna talk to her, and I'm gonna talk to her as well as her peers. I do my best to show them that you and your peers do it all. The patrol officers, the sergeants of this police department have sacrificed more than people will know. The birthdays that you have missed, the holidays that are rescheduled with your family for a Monday instead of the weekends, the burnout, the exhaustion, all of it I see, and I thank all of you for it. I'm saying thank you to you, and I'm saying thank you to you who represent your peers. I know this was a progressive thought, and I know that it will come with challenges. I just thank you and your team for trusting me with this, because I trust all of you. And so I want you to know that in front of everybody here tonight. Okay? And so with that, thank you for the opportunity. I'll leave it for questions.
Okay, let's open it up for questions for Chief.
Whether it's Chief or Rob, how are we sharing this with the community? So we don't at 2 in the morning get calls that there's a fake security firm running down
course.
the- Yeah, okay.
Very good question.
It-
We'll let him handle it.
So I didn't want to put the cart before the horse for your consideration, but we are working with police officers and staff, with our communications manager. If approved by council, we are going to have a collaborative message that is created by both patrol officers and staff, and be ready to disseminate that message before April 1st. So social media platforms,
Okay.
the e-letter, any and every opportunity we can.
Sounds good.
All the tools that we have reinforce it, probably a month or so in, just because not everybody catches it the first time. You have to repeat the same messaging over and over. But yeah, the part of the agreement in working with the officers is they would have a hand in the messaging, and then we'll be working with our communication staff to get it out.
Okay, thank you.
Others?
For P4, what service will they provide that differs from what staff currently provides in terms of on the street? Will they be able to detain somebody? Will they be able to stop something?
So my expectation in their scope of work is to be an extra set of eyes and ears for our police officers in our community. They do have a use of force policy in defense of life. My expectation would be is that they would be a good witness for us and be able to call on us immediately in case of an emergency. But they do have law enforcement powers.
Sorry, thank you for the off-paper comments there. I think everyone appreciates that. And I think you're right. We have enormous respect for the police personnel, all public safety in this town, police and fire. And so I think that is shared with everyone up here, and I think the community at large. So I think your comments were spot on, and the departments should understand that, and I hope they do. My questions, kind of following up on Trustee Albinson. So if we have an alarm go off in our home, which I had not too long ago, it was a false alarm, but the police personnel came into the house. Will P4 be able to come into my house in
No.
that circumstance?
No, my expectation is that every encounter that requires law enforcement, you're going to see a Winnetka police officer at your door. They are not going to be responding to our burglar alarms. They are going to be more on the observation part of this, where they're going to be able to call in suspicious things to us to investigate.
Okay. And then the other follow-up point on the when to engage, you're saying it's only in a life-threatening situation is when P4 personnel would discharge a firearm or something along those lines?
Yeah, their use of force policy is very good and limited in their use. If you would like to talk about it, you sure. If you want to.
Yeah, I would like to actually hear from someone from P4, sort of the origination and
Yeah.
sort of how you're working with other communities.
Sure, absolutely. First off, I want to thank the council members here, Village President, Village Manager, and Chief of Police O'Connell. It's a privilege to be here in front of you guys and talk about this program, which has evolved immensely since we started it several years ago in Lincoln Park. And since then, we've been in several communities throughout Chicago. We also support Northwestern University's police department and other public safety departments. But we're in several communities throughout the city of Chicago today. When we started this program originally, almost 4 years ago, we didn't know if this program was really going to work. We have currently right now over 600 off-duty and retired law enforcement officers that work for us out of that pool of 1,850 security professionals that work for P4. When we started this program in Lincoln Park, small little area there, we didn't know it was going to work. We ended up hiring a former deputy chief out of Skokie. His name is Paul Weinman. He's our director of intelligence. What he did is populated crime data that was publicly available through CPD's public source. And what we ended up finding out is looking at that data, understanding what type of crime was occurring, when it was occurring, and that helped us become better educated on when we should be patrolling, what crimes were occurring, what areas we should be patrolling, depending on the crime. And in every instance, in every neighborhood that we've been, we've either kept crime flat while crime in the city has increased, or we dramatically decreased it. And the best example I can use is Fulton Market, which we're currently in right now. We were able to decrease crime upwards to 19% year over year. March was probably our best results. We were able to decrease crime up to 34% year over year. And this program really is not meant to replace the police. We are not the solution to solving all crime. This is part of the solution. And as we dug deeper and did our research, and we presented recently this past, I guess it was September, to the International Association of Security Regulators. We did a deep dive in our research. The population across the United States is going up. Police resources is going down. So how do you fill that gap? We feel like you fill the gap with public-private partnership. And again, our job here is to observe, report, and deter. It's not meant to replace the police. We're not looking for suspicious people. We're looking for suspicious activity and then communicating that with PD. And I feel like our team, being Chicago-based, we're very local, we're very boutique, but yet we feel like we have the best experience. And all of our officers come from either Cook County, CPD, Collier counties, suburban departments. And we don't just patrol, we look at the data of how we're patrolling. and really being a good partner to this department, this community. We feel like we want to be a liaison to the members of this community and the police department. But I know that was a long answer there.
Thank you. Are we likely to see similar faces on a regular basis from P4?
I will be here as many times as you need me.
Well, no, I mean, in terms of the patrolling.
Yes,
the two-
yes. I will tell you this. We already have this fully staffed, if approved tonight, for the month of April with current law enforcement officers. This is a desirable area to work. A lot of our officers right now, they're working in areas that aren't as desirable in other parts of the city of Chicago. And I think the investment that this council is making tonight and the chief of police and his team is making, this would be a desirable area to work where you'll see the same faces on a consistent manner.
Others? Bridget?
I was going to talk about having the same people come around. I don't really have a question, other than I was going to say we should include that in any information that goes out so that people know it's not going to just be a rotating random group of people. The chief has been keeping us updated throughout this process. I feel like I understand it pretty well. I think this is a great immediate solution or intermediate solution, and we do love our police. There's no question. We think they deal with all of the community members in that with the highest level of professionalism, and anything we can do to relieve the stress that being understaffed causes, I think we're all more than happy to do. And we welcome you to come help us out, I think. We'll see when we vote. But I also like the car design. That is the newest piece of information that I had not seen yet. I think it's a really good idea that it's white. It'll be very visible. So, thank you.
I just want to add one other thing. When we started this program, and I've been in security for quite some time, our collective leadership team has 250 years of experience in security or in law enforcement, military background. When we started this program, we didn't know the effectiveness, and it's proven to be pretty effective. Where I'm going with this is, if we walked into a commander's office in a city district downtown Chicago a decade ago and said that we would be working in partnership with CPD and the communities that they serve, I would have said that it would probably never happen. We are constantly in front of the commanders and leadership within these departments, and they have embraced us with welcome arms, and we've become a partner to these departments and these communities. And they have made mention that we're an effective part of that partnership in reducing the frequency of crime, and we're hoping to do the same thing here. Thank you.
I'll just chirp in for 1 second here, too. Remarkable, it was almost 18 months ago that we first started talking about this. And I don't think people realize how much work, Chief, you have done on this, I mean, consistently over the last 18 months. This isn't an easy ball to get across the line here, and a lot of factors that had to be evaluated, changing players, right? I mean, the whole thing. So what might look like a no-brainer to the average person on the street, understand that there's been a lot of diligence and a lot of effort trying to find a good solution to how we protect our community, especially in this time where we don't have enough bodies to fill the position. So I want to thank you, because many times I figured it had just kind of fallen off the face of the earth. And it turns out that Chief O'Connell was just behind the scenes doing his thing and trying to find a way to solve the problem. So once again, thanks again
Thank you.
for that. And it certainly sounds like you've got good support up here too. So, all right, I'd like to open it up for public comment. Would anybody like to speak on this? Susie, you're the public. There we go. The public supports this as well. Let that be noted in the, let that be noted in the minutes. Okay. All right, well, I guess we'll go ahead and see if we can move this along. Can I have a motion to adopt resolution number R34, 2025?
So moved.
Second?
That's a roll call vote.
Trustee Handler,
Yes?
Trustee Albinson,
Yes.
Trustee Orsick,
Yes.
Trustee Dearborn.
Yes.
That motion carries. Sorry, I'm used to hearing for 6, so we're good there. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Get that e-blast going. Okay, moving forward, old business none, new business none, appointments none, closed session none, and adjournment. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
That's a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thanks.